So many of us have been waiting for the official announcement of the N64 Classic. It just has to be in the works, right? Many of us have been talking about it on YouTube, Twitter, and that as if it's inevitable. The NES Classic and the SNES Classic were both massive successes, were sold out almost the instant they became available for months. In fact, they were so successful that Sony is jumping on that gravy train with the PS1 Classic. Yeah, that disaster. So when is the N64 Classic coming? Apparently it's not. In a recent interview with Kotaku, here's what Papa Reggie had to say about a future N64 Classic. We were clear when we did the first two Classic series that, for us, these were limited time opportunities that were a way for us as a business to bridge from the conclusion of the Wii U as a hardware system to the launch of the Switch. That was the very strategic reason we launched the NES Classic system. So while consumers may have been anticipating something, we view these as limited time opportunities. We've also been very clear that as the consumer looks forward to engaging with our classic content, that is going to happen more and more with the subscription service. He'd go on to say, I would never rule something out, but what I can tell you is certainly that's not in our planning horizon. Now, as Reggie says, this doesn't mean an N64 Classic is never going to happen. It's not like these systems take much R&D to create, right? They know what the system, the controllers, it's all going to look like. Really, it's just narrowing down and getting the rights to the games they want to put on it, which those have also already been made. So if they do decide to make one, there won't be much time between that decision and the actual release of the system, but we shouldn't expect such an announcement anytime soon. And on paper, I should love this announcement. As Reggie said, their focus is adding that classic content to their subscription service, which I've said should be the focus. If you watch my videos when the classic systems were the hot thing, I said it a bunch of times. They're cool little collector's items for fans, but as an actual method for playing classic games in current year, they're not very good. Again, with the PlayStation entering the arena now, people aren't going to want to have 4 or 5 of these classic systems hooked up to their TV just to play older games. Nintendo needs to get these titles on the Switch. By far, the best system, the best system ever made for classic gaming, with it offering both the portable and on-TV options. But I'm not really happy about this announcement, not at all, because the classic offerings on the Switch up to this point have been a joke. We only have NES, a handful of NES games. And don't give me this, oh, the service is new, give them time crap. I see so many people saying to defend it, yeah, let's just give them 20 years. Okay, the service is pretty new, yes, but the system itself has been out for over a year and a half. And this is all they could come up with so far? You have better offerings from like the Neo Geo and Sega systems than you do from Nintendo themselves on the Switch. It's embarrassing. If you want to say that building that up is your focus now, Reggie, that's great. I'm glad to hear it, but I'm going to need to see some results to actually believe it. And adding a few more NES games each month, that ain't it. And you know what else really irritates me about this announcement? The PS1 Classic. This system does not deserve to live. The more I think about the included games, the more it pisses me off. It's like they didn't even try. And now this thing is going to go out there and be unchallenged as the classic game machine offering for this holiday, and probably for a good while after that. And yes, some people, let's be honest, aren't even going to be aware of how many games are on there or what the games are. I'm sure they'll prominently feature the big ones on the box and try to conceal all the padding. And many are buying these as gifts for others. That's why they do so well around the holidays. With the price point being fairly low, they're the perfect gifts for gamers in your life. But an N64 Classic could destroy this thing, send it back to hell from whence it came, if they went head-to-head. Going off the libraries of the NES and the SNES Classics, if the N64 Classic had half as solid of a lineup, it would be 10 times more appealing than PlayStation Classic. Just Nintendo's first-party games from that time alone would be more than enough. And obviously, I just want to play a lot of them again. But yeah, this is really going to open the door for the PS1 Classic. I'm sure executives over at Sony are breathing a huge, massive sigh of relief after hearing that there is no N64 Classic in the works. All in all, I'm fine not having an N64 Classic if that means I can get the games on my Switch. That is what I'd prefer, and I think many others would as well, but are they coming and when? We don't even have SNES yet, and I was kind of thinking this was the reason for these delays. You're going to have these classic systems come out, maximize the sales on those, and then bring those same games onto the service. The current NES library on Switch is made up much of the NES Classic games as it is. But it's been quite a while now since the launch of the SNES Classic, and apparently there are no plans for an N64 one, so again, when are they coming, Nintendo? I actually wonder the only reason I have left that I could think of is if they are waiting to see how Smash Bros. Ultimate affects those sub numbers to then pull the trigger on more classic games, your SNES, your N64. Another thing I've said in a bunch of videos is that they're definitely hoping that Smash brings in a ton more subscribers looking to play the game online. Maybe they want to give that some breathing room, and when things start to slow down with Smash, then you drop the SNES, then you drop the N64 games as the next way to bring on subscribers. Because again, like I say, when we talk about Smash and the online subscriptions, I don't know what the next game is going to be after Smash that's going to entice people to buy those online subscriptions, so maybe that's what they're looking at. The SNES and the N64 games are going to be the next way to entice people to sign up. I could see that. Anyway, with that, this video is a wrap. Let me know your thoughts on the sad news of no N64 Classic being in the works in the comments. Do you think we'll still see one eventually? And does this mean the games will come to the Switch sooner than later? Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this discussion of the not cancellation since it was never announced, the non-existence of an N64 Classic. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, and if you want to keep the conversation going, hit me up on Twitter at Johnny Zakari, and join my Discord, Shy Guy and Friends, link to both in the description below, and as always, thanks for watching.